Everyone is talking about AI. Everyone is talking about crypto. Everyone is talking about the future of money. We are living through a technological revolution that feels like it's moving faster than we can track. But almost nobody is talking about the most important layer of all, the layer that sits beneath the apps, the coins, and the interfaces: control. Because technology doesn't just create opportunity, it creates systems. But we are missing the signal in the noise. While the world watches the price of Bitcoin or the latest AI chatbot, a deeper transformation is occurring. We are transitioning from a world of human-permitted access to a world of protocol-enforced control. This shift is invisible to the casual observer, but it is the most significant change in the history of wealth, and systems are controlled. So the real question isn't what is AI doing or what is blockchain doing. The real question is who controls the systems that run them. To understand the future, we have to look deeper. Today we're breaking down the control layer of the digital economy, and why understanding this may be more important than understanding any individual technology or investment strategy you'll ever encounter. Let's define this clearly. The control layer is not a single company. It's not a single government. It's not even a single technology. It's an invisible architecture that dictates our digital lives. The control layer is the combination of systems that determine who has access, who can transact, who can build, and who can participate in the digital economy. It is the gatekeeper of the 21st century. It includes infrastructure, protocols, regulation, access systems, identity systems, and governance mechanisms. These aren't just technical terms, they are the rules of the new world. Think of it like this. You don't control the internet just because you use it. You're just a passenger. Control comes from the systems underneath the surface, the ones that keep the lights on and the data moving. Most people confuse access with control. They think that because they have an app on their phone, they have power. But just because you can use a platform doesn't mean you control it. Let's look at why. In the traditional system, banks control access to money. Platforms control access to users. Governments control regulatory frameworks. You live within their permissioned boundaries. In the digital economy, those same dynamics still exist. They just look different. Control shifts from physical institutions like banks and courthouses to digital infrastructure and protocols. And whoever controls that infrastructure controls the system. It's as simple and as terrifying as that. To see where the power is moving, we have to break this into layers. Layer 1 is settlement infrastructure. This is where value actually moves. It's the ledger, the ground floor. If you control the ledger, you control the record of truth. Why does settlement matter? Because in a digital world, truth is just a record on a ledger. If you control that ledger, you control what is true about who owns what. This is why the fight for Layer 1 settlement infrastructure is the most high-stakes battle in finance today. It is the very ground we stand on. Layer 2 is the application layer, the apps, platforms, and services we use every day. This is the interface, the part of the machine that looks friendly and easy to use. Then we get to the deeper stuff. Layer 3 is the identity layer, who you are and what you're allowed to access. And Layer 4, that's the intelligence layer. That's where AI lives. The apps you use, the ones that make crypto look like a game or AI look like a toy, are just the facade. They are the application layer. They provide the experience of freedom, but they are entirely dependent on the layers beneath them. If the control layer moves, the application layer must follow. The intelligence layer is where AI systems are starting to make real-world decisions. It's not just about searching for information anymore. It's about taking action based on that information. Finally, Layer 5 is the governance layer, the rules, the permissions, and the compliance. These layers interact constantly, and control comes from the synergy between them. Artificial intelligence introduces something entirely new to this structure. It acts as a control multiplier. It allows for decision making at a scale that humans simply can't match. AI systems can approve transactions, flag risk, allocate capital, and automate entire workflows in milliseconds. This means control is no longer just human, it becomes algorithmic. And when algorithms make the decisions that shape your life, the question becomes, who designs the algorithms? Who trains them? Who controls the data they consume? Those decisions shape your reality. Digital identity is the next critical piece. In a fully digital economy, your identity is your key. It determines your access to financial systems, platforms, markets, and essential services. If identity systems are centralized, controlled by one entity, then control concentrates to a dangerous degree. But if they are decentralized, that control is distributed back to the individual. This isn't just a technical race, it's a geopolitical one. Nations are now competing to host the world's digital infrastructure. They know that the country that sets the protocols for the digital economy will hold the same power that the reserve currency holders held in the 20th century. The battle for the control layer is the new great game. This is one of the biggest debates of our time, because identity isn't just about verifying who you are. It's about permission. It's about being allowed to exist in the digital space. When we talk about de-dollarization, or the rise of new economic blocks, we are really talking about the migration of value from old physical permission systems to new digital protocol systems. If a nation can't control the protocol, they can't control their own economic destiny. This is why we see such rapid movement in CBDCs and stablecoin regulation. Regulation plays a major role here. Every system has rules. In the old world, banks and markets followed written regulations. In the digital economy, the code itself is the law. This is where assets like XRP come into the picture. They aren't just coins to trade. They are designed as bridge infrastructure. In a world of fragmented control layers, you need a neutral, high-speed bridge to move value between systems. XRP was built to be that bridge, a critical piece of the global settlement layer that bypasses traditional friction. The key difference now is that regulation is becoming embedded into the technology itself. Smart contracts can enforce rules automatically, without the need for a central intermediary to step in. The real value of a bridge isn't in its price today, it's in its utility tomorrow. As more nations and institutions build their own controlled islands of value, the bridges that connect them become the most valuable real estate in the digital economy. If you understand the bridge, you understand the flow of the entire system. Compliance is being built into the very protocols we use. Governance can operate at the protocol level. This changes the very nature of how power and control are exercised over society. It always comes back to the balance between centralization and decentralization. Centralized systems offer efficiency and ease of use. They are organized, but they are also single points of failure. Decentralized systems, on the other hand, offer transparency, resilience, and most importantly, user control. The future likely won't be one or the other. It will be a hybrid of these two forces. Here's what most people don't see. Power in digital systems is often invisible. It's not always obvious who is pulling the strings or who owns the underlying architecture you rely on. Control exists in the code, the standards, the access points, and the network effects. Systems that appear open and free may still have underlying mechanisms that can be toggled at any time. But we must ask, what happens to personal liberty in a world of algorithmic control? When the system knows exactly who you are and can grant or deny access in real time, the concept of freedom changes. It becomes something you must proactively build into your own life through decentralized tools and self-sovereignty. This is why understanding the architecture is so important. If you don't understand the foundation, you can't trust the building. Control determines outcomes, who benefits and who is left behind. Self-sovereignty isn't just a buzzword, it's a survival strategy. In the coming decade, your ability to move value and information outside of centralized control layers will be your greatest asset. This means understanding how to use decentralized protocols, secure your own keys, and verify the systems you interact with. Responsibility is the price of freedom. It determines how value flows. If you don't understand the control layer, you're interacting with systems without understanding the rules they were built on. You're playing a game you don't understand. As we move toward 2030, these systems will become the air we breathe. They will be so deeply integrated into our daily lives that we won't even notice them. But the people who understand the architecture now, the ones who see the control layer today, will be the ones who can navigate the shifts of tomorrow. This isn't just theory, it's a survival guide for the next decade. The digital economy isn't just about new gadgets or apps. It's about entirely new systems of human interaction. And every system has a control layer. Some are visible, some are hidden, all are powerful. The question isn't whether control exists. It always does. The question is, do you understand where it is? Do you know who is writing the code for your future? I want you to start looking for it. The window between 2025 and 2027 will be the most critical for positioning. This is when the foundational protocols of the new digital economy will be finalized. The decisions made by regulators and institutions during this period will set the stage for the next 30 years. If you're waiting until 2029 to get prepared, you've already missed the shift. If you want deeper breakdowns on XRP, AI, and the evolution of the digital economy before 2030, then subscribe. Join this community of people who are looking beneath the surface. During this window, focus on the infrastructure. Don't get distracted by the flashy apps on the surface. Look at the settlement layers, the identity protocols, and the AI governance models that are being adopted. This is where the long-term power is accumulating. Position yourself in the systems that are becoming the new global standards. And if you want a full, actionable framework for understanding how these systems will evolve over the next decade, you need to check out my latest book. It's called Mastering XRP, AI, and the Digital Economy Before 2030. It's a complete beginner to expert wealth survival guide for the systems we've talked about today. Link is in the description. By 2028, the control layer will be invisible. It will be the, quote, operating system of reality. Your identity, your money, and your digital twin will all be managed by these underlying protocols. This is the era of total integration. The friction of the old world will be gone, replaced by the perfect efficiency and perfect control of the new world. Because the future won't just be built on technology. It will be built on who controls the systems behind it. I'll see you in the next breakdown. Be strategic. Stay ahead. In this final phase, the goal is resilience. You want to ensure that your wealth and your access are not dependent on any single node in the system. Diversify your digital footprint. Use the hybrid models we've discussed. Ensure that you have access points across different jurisdictions and different protocols. This is how you remain a player, not a pawn. So how do you actually survive this? It requires a new framework for wealth, one that prioritizes utility, liquidity, and sovereignty. We are moving from a world where you own things in a physical vault to a world where you control access to value in a digital protocol. The framework for this survival is what I've spent the last decade developing. My framework is built on 3 pillars: system literacy, asset utility, and protocol sovereignty. You must understand the system you're in. You must hold assets that actually perform a function in that system. and you must maintain the ability to control those assets yourself. This is the path to wealth in the 2030 economy. The storm is coming, but for those with a lighthouse, it is simply a time of unprecedented opportunity. The greatest transfer of wealth and power in human history is happening right now beneath the surface. You just have to be willing to look. Don't be the one who wakes up in 2030 wondering what happened. Be the one who saw it coming. We've covered the 5 layers of control, the role of AI as a multiplier, the critical nature of digital identity, and the roadmap for the next decade. The systems are being built. The protocols are being set. The only question left is whether you will be an architect of your own future or a subject of someone else's code. Choose wisely.